Joining me now is Phil Alicea, the District 2 Commander.
Good morning.
Good morning, Phil. Thanks for joining us. So, to begin with, what area comprises District 2 so we can make sure our viewers know what we're talking about?
Sure. District 2 is the Arlington area. It's going to be east of the river, all the way over to the beaches, and it's going to be north of Beach Boulevard, all the way up to the Dames Point Bridge. So that is all of District 2.
Thank you, Phil. So, Phil, you and I are both displaced Yankees, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So when we talk about growing up, you grew up in the tri-state area like I did, right?
That is correct. I grew up in South Jersey.
South Jersey.
South Jersey is right outside of the Philadelphia area, and so that was where I grew up, and I didn't move from there until after college.
And we'll get to the after college part. Let's start. I know you told me that your mom had a very profound impact on your life and your work ethic.
She did. So my mother was very young when she had me. So she had 2 kids by the age of 15. And so while we were growing up, she was going to school, and she raised us on her own. So by the time I was 12, she had finished her bachelor's degree. And so that type of work ethic, the value of an education, really hammered home to me and my younger brother.
So, Phil, I guess absorbing that commitment to education and commitment to work ethic, what decisions did you make in terms of higher education?
So when I was finishing high school, my mother said, so what are you going to do after college, after high school? So I gave her 3 options. I said, well, I'm going to join the Marine Corps, I'm going to join the Philadelphia Police Department, or I'm going to go to college. So she smiled and said, okay, so what college are we going to go to? So I ended up going to college. And then, so kind of an attack at my mother to say, I ended up going to a military college. That way I could make sure I went to school, got the education I needed.
Where did you go to college?
Virginia Military Institute.
And when you're at VMI, my understanding is you were personally very involved in athletics.
Yes. So I was blessed with the ability to run fast. So I got a track scholarship to VMI. And so otherwise I wouldn't have been able to go to school to afford it. So I was a full scholarship track athlete. And by the end of my senior year, I was ranked 17th in Division I in the decathlon.
That's incredible. What happened after you graduated? What was your next step?
My next step was I started coaching. I started coaching college, track and field. Started to volunteer first, and then I came to Jacksonville as a track and field coach. Met my wife, then went to UNC Chapel Hill, coached there. We started having children, and then my wife said, you need to get a real job.
Okay. So you really had a whole career before you became a police officer. You were a collegiate coach.
Yes, yes. So when I joined JSO, I was 31 years old. So we got out of coaching. We moved back to Jacksonville. Her family's from Jacksonville. It's where my wife is from. So I thought it was important that we raise our children where my wife's family was for the support side of the house. And then when that was done, I got a job at a mortgage company. I did that for 2 years. Told my wife this job was killing me, and she said, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I always wanted to be a policeman. And she said, that's not a problem. The only thing that I ask is just don't change who you are. So the support from her was extremely important. I went from, I took an $80,000 pay cut to come be a police officer, and it was the best decision I ever made.
I think it's really neat too that you fulfill your mother's dream of going to college, fulfilled a dream of being involved with the military, and then in your 30s you fulfilled your dream of being a police officer.
Yes.
Now, you've had a very interesting career at the sheriff's office as well. Can you tell us what your favorite position you've held or your favorite positions?
I've been very fortunate. So I've been a patrolman. I was on the SWAT team. I was a field training sergeant. But the best time that I had was my first 2 years in patrol as a brand new police officer. The camaraderie, the brotherhood, the friendships that were made, a lot of the mistakes that you make, and learning opportunities. But that year, those 2 years with the squad that I had was the most memorable. And still talk to every one of those guys. I actually still talk to the sergeant who's long since retired. So that for sure was has been the best time of my career. So
I
far.
love that. I love the kinship that you build when you're sort of in a baby police officer role with the people you work with.
That is true.
Thank you, Phil. I appreciate your time.
All right, thank you very much.